Okay, anybody getting sleepy? No? Yes? After lunch? Okay, so let's tell, how many people in this room are lawyers? Right, everyone's a lawyer. See, I'm not a lawyer, right? I'm a litigation consultant, I'm an expert witness, I'm an entrepreneur. I'll talk about some of those things briefly. I'm gonna tell a lawyer's joke. Let's see if it's funny or not, right? Okay. So, we're gonna get back to my favorite subject, Abraham Lincoln. So Abraham Lincoln used to go around on these local visitations to like rural counties, right? We're talking 1850s. And he's sitting around on a cold night in Illinois around a fire with all his lawyer buddies. And one of the lawyer buddies says, "Pretty cold night." And Abraham Lincoln responds, "Colder than hell." Right? And one of the other lawyers says, trying to get a cheap laugh, "You've been there, Mr. Lincoln?" And Mr. Lincoln responds with a twinkle in his eye and smiles and says, "Why, yes, my friend, I have been there. And it's kind of like it is right here. All the lawyers are closest to the fire." All right. So with that being said, see, I got away with a lawyer joke here. All right. I know, but you know, what is that thing? Better to be thought a fool than to speak up and remove all doubt. Okay, so next we have a special talk, Accelerating Legal Research and Practice. In this session, we have Saakar Yadav, founder of Lexlegis Solutions. He will provide us with cutting-edge insights on how technology is shaping the legal industry today. I know we're running a little bit behind. I promise you my session at the end with Ashna will be shorter and more entertaining than anything else. So stick around. Huh?
Has he also been to hell?
You'll have to ask him. Convenient truth. All right, brother. Is he here? Oh, there he is.
Was he talking about me?
No, you just by chance you happen to be the person that they said, "Samir, you should come and introduce." So here you go.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. I think you have heard me before speaking my mind in one of the panel. Mohammed was the moderator. I don't see Mohammed here. What I'm here today to speak about Lexlegis. The name is Lexlegis as a lexicon of legislations. We're a large repository of legislations and your trusted legal aid. Ignorance of law is not a bliss. I think you all agree with this, right? But then the law. Ignorance of law is not a bliss. Then the law. The law is so huge, and many of your clients will be working cross borders, etc. It's so difficult to keep absorbing everybody. So for just one firm trying to service clients who are growing, clients who are going into multiple countries, it becomes extremely difficult for the client and for yourself. I'll start with the story of what we have done and how we have done it. So the present Indian government has repealed 1,824 laws. The gentleman here won some cufflink in the morning. All right, so repealed 1,824 laws, repealed. Can you guess how many laws remain active in India today? All right? These are more beautiful.
Globally?
No, in India. These one contain a gavel on your cufflink. Very unique, I've got it for you. This contains a gavel. I think there's no camera focusing here. But they're small little gavels. So, and I've got a few of them because questions will keep coming. So can anybody guess how many laws, at least I see some Indian lawyers here, can anybody guess how many laws remain active in India today? How many laws or acts remain active? Anybody? 10,000? More than that? You're a lawyer, you should know it. How much? 100,000 laws. Okay. Anybody? Take a guess. Oh, you could. You could. You're using technology to get your answer. It may hallucinate and be wrong. Okay, so no, this doesn't go anywhere. There are about 800 laws only now in India. There were about 2,500 laws, and we should have guessed it because in the morning I had said there were 2,500 laws because the gentleman here had got something because I had said which is the country with the maximum number of laws, and I said there were 2,500 laws in 2000, and about 1,800 have been repealed, so 800 approximately remain. Overnight success takes 10 years. For us, it has taken 25. That's my father in the background. He was a very senior IRS officer, a revenue officer in the country. I had just dropped out from the National Defense Academy. That is a premium defense establishment for the country. And we started with the vision of building a faster legal tech. And we made the largest database of judgments with shepherdized content. Now, shepherdized is a word that only the lawyers could explain. Anybody, can they explain me what shepherdizing content mean?
I'm not going to, I'll try, but I only won once.
Yeah. No, it is not. Good question, but lawyers are not supposed to. It was made by somebody known Shepherd.
Shepherdizing means you will trace the history of the law or the judgment to see whether it has been repealed, amended, overturned, or modified.
So I will have to read this to you. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
No, somebody else gets it.
Please take it. You can give it to some young lawyer in your firm. It's very important. And a lot of young lawyers are, that goes to the CTO there, the Chief Security Officer there. And before I speak about shepherdizing, so you were speaking before this. I marked your presentation. Security is a big concern just because that small little cufflink went on to you. I'll just pass a statement for all of you. It's a very apt statement for what sir was speaking. If money is lost, something is lost.
Trust.
If
Reputation.
health is lost, a lot is lost. But if you don't follow security, and if trust and reputation is lost, all is lost. I think somebody asked, what is the risk in case we don't follow? Everything is at risk. I hope you agree with me. So shepherdizing is such an important word, especially for legal research. Unfortunately, I'm not a lawyer. I've been taught about this very early in life. And it is a hierarchical arrangement of the history of that issue. How has that thing been shaped up? And I think this has not been taught very nicely or not being passed on. I can just absolutely understand because we have such a senior gentleman here and he knows about this. Because that's the way legal research is done and that has been the base. And therefore this person's name has almost been started using in such a common way called shepherdizing the content. We started way back in 1998. There was no AI at that time. We were first working only on gist of decisions of income tax and allied taxes. We used to write head notes, catchphrases on important decisions. And then in 2004, we started working on developing the largest database of judgments in India. In 2014, we worked for the National Judicial Reference System, where we made the world's largest repository of appeals. Here I like to point out to you, especially in matters of litigation, we were able to use machine learning to clear almost 17,000 appeals, right? 17,000 appeals by bunching appeals of similar issue. So, the matter was already decided at the Supreme Court, but for some reason, those cases which were active at the lower courts were still active. So we were able to bunch those appeals and immediately clear about 17,000 appeals. So that was a very big number for a particular department that we were handling. 2024, we launched the legal AI. So we found that the AI was extremely useful in general inference of what people are trying to look, and we launched Legal AI company. We are now building a local a legal repository across the globe. So we already had it for India, and now we are building for US, we are building for UK, a lot of European courts, we are building for Australia, Singapore, etc. The legal data is great. I told you that we have this large repository of legal database, but can you tell me what is a bigger problem? Anybody? That the AI can solve. Is the legal data the problem, or is it the solution? Anybody? I mean, if you're quiet, most probably you know all of this, or I'm not able to explain anything.
I think it's like yin and yang, mixture of both.
Pardon me?
It's like yin and yang, mixture of both.
No, forget about AI. Just globally, database is not the problem. The database of judgments is a solution. A solution to what? Current? Absolutely right. So it is, I have to give you a cufflink, please come and take it. No, not you. I thought the gentleman was standing again. So it is the pending cases. Thank you. It is the pending cases. So we have over 44 million cases pending in India. All right. I don't have global numbers yet for every country where the team is working on. We almost have 13.5 million cases filed last year. It amounts to 60,000 cases every working day. That's just so very, he's laughing. This much case we don't get in a year. Imagine 60, pardon me? In 100 years. It's 60,000 cases filed every working day. And these are not my numbers, these are public data. And there are about 1.5 billion advocates who are doing various kind of searches to get answers to all of these cases. So this is one slide which speaks a lot on what we are doing. Please pay attention to this slide. There is a word here, GIGO. Madam there, at the end. GIGO, you repeated GIGO at that time. So we are training almost 10 million documents. We're repeating this for all the countries. We've trained almost 20 billion tokens worth of data. When I say 20 billion tokens worth of data, the other company which I mentioned to you, Harvey, is trained on almost 10 billion tokens worth of data, which is twice as large. And we have tested on various foundation model. And if you will understand that the foundation models, or the large models, because I've heard the word chat GPT here so many times since morning, all right, that I need to clarify this to you. That these models are trained on a very large set of world repository. These are places like Wikipedia. These are places like open blogs, like tax blogs, legal blogs. These are places like Reddits, like Quoras. And they have a lot of open data. But there is no authenticity of data. That means that it could have, it could have been trained on appeal data too. But as you would agree, that the appeal data is something that you think is correct. It is not the court's verdict. So if you're training, like I told you, we had made the largest repository of appeals, but we have not trained our data on appeals. Because the appeal data may be incorrect, because you may have written something that is not good law. So we have trained it on super authentic data. Those are in 3 stages. Number 1, the top one being the statutes. The next being the regulations. How should you implement the statutes? And the third are the case laws. So in this hierarchical manner, we have trained our superset data. We have, of course, tested it on various platforms and GPTs, various legal firms, etc., testing it, and we have found, and they have found, our answers, our outputs to be extremely nice and much, much, much better than the GPTs of the world. So when I'm saying GPT, I don't mean chat GPT only, I mean general inferences GPT. We're solving for 3, this game, like somebody said, so it's a game of trust. It's not the game of technology. We are using technology to ensure speed and ease of work. Maybe give a better outcome to our clients. But at the core of all of this, the T doesn't stand for technology, it stands for trust. We're solving for 3 main things that law firms need. And that is hallucination. We all discussed about, when somebody did some search on GPT and it gave some judgment which didn't exist. We hate this technology. And we say, how is this possible? But try to understand that when you are asking it to write a letter or create an image, it is creating a new image which was not there earlier. And you call that wow. Have you all tried the WhatsApp Imagine? Any one of you? Yeah? So on WhatsApp, if you would try to send a message to somebody, you could try it right now, and press the plus button there. There is a button called Imagine there. If you type, draw a monkey sitting on a moon with a carrot in the hand, it would draw a monkey sitting on the moon with a carrot in the hand. And you would say, oh my God, how could it do that? Because that image does not exist. And you call the same technology wow. But when it creates a judgment for you which does not exist, you say not good. So let's not hate the technology. Let's find answers to how to use the technology for our benefit. Okay, so the first thing is hallucination. What is hallucination? This same image that it is creating for you, or the same new letter that it is writing for you, or the same essay that it is writing for your child, you are loving it. But the same technology being used to create a new judgment, the use case is not correct. And that is why you need to have specialized models for legal, medical, and finance. Because here in medical, you cannot tell somebody that you have got cancer while the person doesn't have cancer, or the person doesn't have cancer and you tell the person that the person has cancer. Similarly in finance, and similarly in law, that you cannot just, let's have a mic there please. Anybody? Yeah. Similarly in law, you cannot be, if you see my entire presentation, it is black and white, right? It's not supposed to be gray. Yes, sir, please.
But how you outpace that fake data available?
I will tell you in future.
Because you have to have some comparison.
Absolutely. Because by the end of the next few slides, you all will be geniuses in AI and you can conduct this yourself.
No, not like that. Because as in the earlier session, somebody has pointed out that the case which is not there, and on that basis of chat GPT, something has happened.
I will explain it.
Yeah,
I'll explain. Absolutely, I'll explain it to you. And any question that you have, please feel free to ask me, because it's going to help you. It's going to be at the core of your work tomorrow. Tomorrow, I mean 6 months' time, 8 months' time. But all of this is going to be a core of your work. You can't be living without it. So we're solving for hallucination. That is, we are ensuring that it does not give you a fake output. How do we do it? That was a question. We'll come back to you. We solve for one more thing, and that is called an XAI. Imagine if I give you an output which you disagree with. It's not necessary that you may know everything. There's a new question in mind. So it would be important that the output that the AI is giving you, it gives you with a certain amount of explanation that I am forming this conclusion on your question because of this kind of information that I have. If it is able to give you an explanation to the output or to the reasoning that it is doing, I think the trust level goes up a little more. Third, what if you could also get source documents of the citations that it is talking about? Then you would absolutely, the trust level is up. So we're solving for hallucination. We are giving you an explainable AI, and we are also giving you source references of code documents, of statutes, of regulations, to give you more confidence on the output that it is getting. And we have specialized exactly in this. We, of course, focus on values, like we try to give you quick answers, accurate answers. We try to ensure that it is bias-free. How do you ensure bias-free? We don't rely on a particular kind of a judgment. So we ensure that all kinds of judgments and orders are being covered. We want, it's fully comprehensive, so we don't try to cover one act for you or one law for you, because sometimes the question that you have, the legal answer could be across the act, across the law, sometimes across the borders. So we try to cover all of that for you. And of course, security is at the key that we will speak about. We have 3 main products. And when we did a lot of research over the last 24 months' time, we realized that there was only 3 main work happening in your legal firm or any corporate legal departments. And we named this the legal aid, AID. A stands for ask. That is the legal research. You want to research questions. You have some doubt in your mind you want to ask. You want to ask a question of law, etc. See, in this part I like to tell you that most of the law questioning is bifurcated into question of law or question of fact. Question of law, as you would know, is am I allowed to be standing here in this room? Question of fact is am I standing in this room? For question of law, AIs are extremely good at giving good answers. A question of fact is something that needs certain documentation, proof, witnesses, etc. It's slightly yet behind. Okay, so ask, we give you general reasoning, and we ensure that you are able to get good answers to your legal research questions. I stands for interact. Interact is document interaction. So I'll give you an example. I think it will make all other parts clear. So you have filed an appeal in a court. The opposite side files a reply. You file a rejoinder or you find a reply back. The other side gives the second set of reply. The first set of reply was 200 pages, and the second set of reply that the opposite party gave you is now 400 pages. You cannot use Microsoft Word. You cannot use track changes because it will scratch off everything. All that you want to know quickly is give me the difference between the second set and the first set. It would tell you that Mike, in the first set, said that he was not there in UAE on Friday, but in the second set, he said that he was actually at home in Dubai. So the semantic meaning, the comparison on semantic meaning. For example, if you are drafting a legal document, it could tell you that you have, and it's a 40-page document that your paralegal has sent to you, it could tell you that you have mentioned clause 18C. But clause 18C is not mentioned in your agreement. It could tell you that you have mentioned based on certain agreements that the revenues will be shared. But those clarity is not there. So it will tell you those clarities are missing. It does a beautiful work of that your paralegal could do. And the third, of course, the work that people do in law firms are drafting. After you have read a document, you have legal researched it, you have to draft it and again give it to the court. So this drafting, we could do it in a very fine manner. We're already doing it in India, and now we're going outside for other countries. We have already launched in UK. We are launching in US soon. We are working hard to be launching for UAE and other parts of the country. You had a question, please.
So is there any room for any error?
Is there any room for any error? 100%. We are a paralegal, so we're not trying to. So we're not trying to address that. It's an evolving thing, and those. No, it's not about we accepting the error. It is an evolving thing which is learning slowly, and right now it is 2 years old. By the time it is 3 or 4, we will be seeing exponential improvement in there. So I will not tell you that I will not tell you to rely on it. Absolutely not. Because we are targeting about 85% of work that it should do. We are somewhere around 40 to 60% right now. But I'm not talking in terms of accuracy. I'm talking in terms of overall understanding of the law. All right? So this is what we call the legal aid: ask, interact, and draft. In ask, we have a general legal chat, and we have specialized models with document grounding. Anybody can tell me what is document grounding? This answers your question for hallucination. Yes, please.
Scanning the document if I'm not wrong.
Little wrong. So what happens, you asked me a question earlier, that how do we, no, you're taking initiative. It's for keeping the audience awake. It is for keeping the audience awake. So I often say this, that in one of my earlier speeches, I saw a gentleman sleeping in front, and I told him, "Sir, please stand up. You're sleeping. It's slightly humiliating, and I'm speaking." You know what happened? 7 people got up. 7 people stood up. So what is document grounding? Let me explain it to you. So the legal inferences give you certain document out, and it may give you certain citations. We ground that output through real documents. So supposing it told you a particular citation, it would not just quote you the citation. It would use a process which is known as an agentic AI, that is a workflow process, where it would go back in matters of seconds, look up whether this actually exists. I hope I have said the right. It's like a mind, I'm talking to a senior, and senior says, "All right, what is the question? What is the answer for this?" And it says, "I think there was a judgment of Mike Ross versus Harvey, in California." So the senior will say, "Okay, fine, do you have the judgment?" He'll say, "Here I go." I look it up. Oh, I don't find it. It'll keep iterating to ensure that it is document grounded. That means any output that you get, you will get it with the correct citations. If the citations are correct, and if it is reasoning out with those citations, can there be hallucination? No. All right? So that is how we are controlling hallucination. We are also doing web grounding. Web grounding means anything that may be latest, etc. So we also web ground it and ensure that the document is not only legally in the legal language correct, it is document grounded and web source grounded too. So that is what document grounding is. And we are the only people in the world who are doing document grounding today. We follow an IRAC structure. All right? And any legal research, there has to be, if I except a very few gentlemen here, if I ask you that in your firm, how are you doing legal research? So you would say, no, a question comes, we usually know, I will go read up Google, I'll read up a blog, I will ask from my friends, I'll go there, ask them, and I'll get it done. But that is not the right approach. So when we were doing it, we found that any legal writing should follow a clear structure. Otherwise, your point risk being lost or misunderstood in the court. So we also analyze a set of facts using legal rules gleaned from sources, including cases, statutes, regulation, and secondary materials. So what does IRAC stand for? Anybody, please?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Issue.
So are you looking up the net? No? Excellent. Sir, please come. Please come. Your first word itself is right, sir. Please come. Oh, excellent, sir. Please come. I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent, sir. I mean, this is extremely good. Yeah, you can continue the clap if somebody was clapping. This is extremely good. I'll tell you, there are processes like IRAC. There are processes, you can give it to him if you want. There are processes like IRAC, CREAC. These are standards and taught in all Ivy League schools. That for any legal research, you should just not float around. So our AI follows these standards of IRAC, CREAC. So IRAC stands for rule, application, and conclusion. There's a CREAC method, and there are more methods. So on our system, we are already following the IRAC method of giving you an output. So that the thing I told you about XAI, the explainable AI, we follow an IRAC standard to give you an output on that. And this will enthuse more confidence in the system that you're using. This will also enthuse more confidence to the court when you give the reply in that format. Then we have Interact. In Interact, we have models like summarize, review, translate, compare to documents. We have also a word integration, because when you're drafting, you don't want to be starting to draft and go on the web all the time. So while you're drafting, our AI opens up by the side in your MS Word, whether it is an online Office 365 or an offline. We are soon launching a PowerPoint version too, because a lot of times you get PowerPoint versions to analyze. And you should be able to improve. You have summarize, you have suggest features. For example, you're writing a clause and you want a separate version of that. So what it could do is it could suggest you improvements to the clause based on the document that you're writing, not a general suggestion. Again, it should not hallucinate. For example, you are making an MOU for technology transfer. It should not, and you have a term. That indemnity clause should not be focused towards the MOU and technology transfer, and should not focus on a rental agreement MOU. So those kind of things, those nuances we have taken care. And of course, then we have DocuCloud, where you can infer on your own document sets. The drafting is where you could start drafting from scratch, or we're launching various templates in multiple languages for cross borders, where you could use these templates to get into your drafting, which will make your life extremely easy. Remember, these, I have heard of GPTs, when you ask them to write letters, it's even to a judge, it says, "Hello judge, hope this letter finds you well." Our models are trained to be in a legal parlance, and you'll not see such kind of outputs coming in our models or our outputs. So we're building for the accountants, for the legal firms, for the corporate legal departments. We're building for courts and tribunals. So you'll be happy to know that one of the model is already being used by certain judges who are using it to see whether it can draft judgments. While we are thinking of drafting appeals, you try to understand from the judge's point of view, they have problems in drafting orders and judgments. So they're trying to see if it can be used for drafting judgments. We are working with government departments. We are working with the police department for forensic AI, where it could scan images and video, and it could give you answers to images. We're working with SME, professionals, individuals, and all of that with vernacular support. See, a big problem of law is that many countries and many legal decision makers who change law in various countries, usually they sometimes learn from other countries too. All right? And they use that. For example, in India, I can say very specifically, we were not the first to apply GST. We have learned from other countries. And we have applied it successfully across. But now learning from there and applying it. And more importantly, ensuring that that law is transfused, and understood to every person. If you remember my first slide, ignorance of law is not a bliss. And then the law. Law should be understood. It should not only be English. If somebody is speaking Arabic, it should be in Arabic. If somebody is speaking Hindi, it should be in Hindi. If somebody is speaking Taiwanese, it should be in Taiwanese. So we are working on that too, and that you can see. The best feature that we have now to make it accessible for everybody is we are coming up with a WhatsApp version. You're running up the courtroom and you have a thought, or you're sitting in a car and you have a thought of a question. You're sitting in the washroom and you think of a question. Where do you go? You have a phone in your hand, just ask our WhatsApp number the question that you have. And unlike any general GPTs, it will do the same process of removing hallucination, grounding it. It will give you explanation in AI, give you its source documents, and give you some answers. So we're trying to make AI available to how you use it and how you use technology, and not forcing you to come to us on our website and things like this. That is why the MS Word version and this version. We have made great progress in AI and the use of this. Some very large law firms in India are using it. They're extremely happy with it. Large corporate legal departments are using it. But this is just 1% of the output that I can promise you. A lot of this questioning that it says it sometimes goes wrong, it's very motivating for us. Because we are in agreement that it is just 1% of the output. The 99% still remains. And some people spoke about whether computers could, 2-3 minutes, where computers could, do I have to give you one of this gift to increase the time? No. Oh. So, where computers could, I thought she came there, I should gift her. So, where computers could have emotions. So, let me tell you a fact, it will be hard for you to believe. Like AI is hard to believe that it can write when you saw ChatGPT for the first time or any GPTs for the first time. We are in a weak AI stage. We are mostly doing text inferences, etc. We are soon going to be at AGI stage. Anybody here knows what AGI stands for? Can I throw? So, artificial general intelligence, that is expected to hit the market earliest by October this year or 2026 March. It will be able to do much better reasoning that we have ever imagined. And by 2030, or maybe before, we are expected to hit the super intelligence stage. The super AI will have emotions. And that coupled with robot. But in law, we are not really imagining that. But even when we hit AGI stage, we'll be able to do a lot more on criminal laws, etc. Extremely high. We expect to be saving 60% of your time. We expect to be doing 80-85% of your work. That is it. There is no other thing that is our target. So I spoke to you about, and somebody answered about that the backlog of the case is a problem. Can anybody tell me is that the real problem, or is there a bigger problem that is coming? Anybody?
Just going back to one of your aspects on criminal law, I have a bit of a difference in that. See, on criminal law, I don't think so that AI would be that indulgent, because of the fact that AI will actually research for you and give you a pattern of 3 or 4 cases based on whatever judgments have been passed. But in criminal law, when a judgment has to be passed by a judge, suppose it's a death penalty to be given, in that scenario, a judgment cannot be written by an AI. It can't.
All right. So I will not answer this today. I'll discuss with you offhand. But also for the paucity of time, if they give me time, I can. But be ready to be surprised with what the technology is going to hit you on your face in terms of belief. We are all shaped with our thoughts. and there is a logical reasoning for this, which we call learning emotions, etc. It is all a set pattern that we have been able to write a logic for that in simple word. And AI is able to replicate that. Okay? So, the present backlog of cases is not the real problem. Is there any bigger problem that you all can tell me? Yeah? Oops. Pardon me? No, that's not the main problem. I'm actually trying to see if I've got more gifts or not. But no, that's not the main problem. I'll quickly... So, the real problem is we are expecting in India itself about 100 million more cases to be coming in the 5 years' time. Yes, please?
Isn't the problem that if there are more convictions, then prisons and the...
Yes, that's a problem, but that's a problem that not our legal tech is going to sort. But yes, that's a problem. If you're going to have so many convictions, do you need prison? But all of these cases don't end in imprisonment. It could be financial fines too. So the new backlog of cases, and what can we do to prevent the oncoming backlog, the future backlog of cases? So we are working on a platform for ODR to support ADR. For people whom I have not discussed, can you please tell me what is ODR and what is ADR? Anybody?
Alternative dispute resolution.
Yeah. And ODR? Absolutely. So we are launching a global ADR platform. Yes, please.
Maybe I'll ask the question once you're done. The time allowed for questions.
No, you can ask me now. It's related to this slide. Otherwise,
Yeah. It's just from experience. ODR sometimes proves to be not efficient, especially when the mediator, adjudicator, arbitrator is, thanks to COVID, is sitting somewhere in an environment which is a bit foreign for the parties joining the ADR. To have face-to-face dispute resolution, alternative dispute resolution, it's probably more effective. I would like to hear your opinion about this. And finally, in criminal law, probably it's best to protect witnesses in evidence, etc., when it's done remotely via video conferencing.
agreed to this point also. Yes. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah. So
All right.
basically,
Thank you for asking this. I've lost my last parliamentary elections in India. I'm assuming that if I was in parliament, I was heading some ministry or in some committee to decide on this matter. The question that I would ask is, out of the 100 cases coming, are all of them criminal cases? Are there simple financial disputes? You see, courts are there to uphold the law and not to just mere settle disputes. What we are seeing increasingly, that people are going to court to settle their differences or settle disputes.
Are courts really trying to reach justice?
maybe in criminal cases, civil, commercial, it's about dispute resolution. Once the parties agree to a settlement in court, around the round table, in chambers, etc. Now, criminal law and the Crown Prosecution Services. Yeah.
I'd agree with you. I agree.
Is it
might
justice
not be
or
very
is it more
good.
dispute resolution, which is also good enough to dispute to?
So I'll tell you what's happening in India.
Right.
All right. In India, the government has come out with a regulation that all financial disputes should mandatorily be going through arbitration. For example, the Insurance Regulatory Authority in India has recently taken out a circular that you have to mandatorily put an arbitration clause, and it could be an online arbitration clause. All right. So while we are launching this alternate dispute through an online dispute resolution, we are launching it globally for people to be participating. And our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, his objective is also to try to make India as an international arbitration hub, to which we are very much committed and wanted to grow on that. We are working on building international arbitration grid. Now here comes the why are we here? We've given you these bags with our brands printed. We are disputing certain gavel cufflinks. We are here looking, as we are expanding our footprint outside India, we are looking for global content. Maybe we don't have certain countries, maybe Africa and other places. We're looking for content there, understanding the law there. We're looking for partnerships. So I can tell you some of the large legal firms in India have partnered with us to go to market. So in fact, one of the legal companies, ELP, one of their managing partners, they say that we're expecting 60 to 80% of our fee to be coming from technology-assisted service rather than just manual service. So we're looking for partnerships, we're looking for go-to-market in various places, and we are also expanding our ADR network. I have my Director of Finance and Head of International Relationship, Mr. Prashant Shah. If you can please stand up, sir. I also have our Director and Head of Compliance, Mr. Mahesh Jethani. So please, whenever you have a break today, tomorrow, please feel free to talk to them, interact and see how we can network and reach out to your geographies or the places where you have come from. All right? Thank you.